All right, let's give the people what they want. Let's open the Week 12 Sunday six pack presented by our friends at Athletic Brewing Company. All right, Stuck. Rough couple weeks for me, so we're back to tied up at 36 apiece. Somehow Pittsburgh got that miracle cover. Didn't even expect them to do that. I almost turned that game off in the fourth quarter. That's how over I thought it was. But
Chargers game is never over.
Never. It's same thing. It's nuts how it's the same. It's like the kind of the same thing, except they're winning some of them. They used to lose pretty much all of those. But I am up first this week. So for my first pick of the Week 12 Sunday six pack, the first overall pick of the Week 12 Sunday six pack, I am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 4.5 at the Cincinnati Bengals at BetMGM. I think this number is just too big. I think it's closer to a field goal game. I know Pittsburgh has been just ugly all year, but because they've been just ugly enough to be underdogs and, in a lot of these games and, we're kind of getting a lot of value on their lines. I mean, this is in DVOA, overall DVOA. And remember, this is schedule adjusted. We're 10 weeks into the season, 11 weeks into the season now. Pittsburgh 22nd, Cincinnati 21st. So these are pretty evenly matched teams. How does this get to 4.5? Like, I know Pittsburgh's been ugly, but Pittsburgh actually has the better offense in terms of DVOA, 21st versus the Bengals 23rd. For all the talent Cincinnati has on offense, something's not quite right. I think it's the play calling, honestly. Joe Burrow just tends to make like one or two key mistakes under pressure every game. The offensive line isn't great. Pittsburgh, they're not quite at full strength, but we still know they're going to be able to cause some disruption up front. I mean, Cam Hayward was a man possessed in that Charger game. I pretty much could single-handedly thank him for the cover. Pittsburgh's even getting pressure on punts, but Cincinnati, their offense, they've just been better situationally than overall. And you just worry about that kind of regressing a little bit because, they're 21st in offense overall, but they're 15th on third down. They're 4th in the red zone. Well, Pittsburgh, 7th on third down defense, 4th in red zone defense. So it's not going to be easy here. Also, again, with Pittsburgh, a lot of these plays aren't based on just a matchup, and the numbers. It's based on the motivation here. And Pittsburgh is one of the best teams to play based on motivation. This is a big revenge spot for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati came into Pittsburgh early in the year when we really didn't have impressions of either team yet. And they spanked them. And not only that, but I think it was Tyler Boyd told the whole world that they gave up, that Pittsburgh just gave up. Ben Roethlisberger had that embarrassing, short of the sticks throw to Najee Harris on 4th down. And then the Bengals just Pittsburgh gave up in their own building. It was sad, this, that. You think Mike Tomlin's not going to have that clip on a repeat over and over and over again? In addition to the fact that this is just yet another rah-rah spot for Tomlin. Divisional opponent, on the road, underdog. As a dog from week 3 on, 36-15-2 against the spread, 72%. As a dog versus an opponent with an equal or better winning percentage, 29-7-1, 82% against the spread on a sample of 37 games. Mike Tomlin, as an underdog, coming off a loss, 14-6 against the spread, 70%. And Tomlin has always owned Cincinnati until, this year. He was 20-8 coming into this year, now 20-9 with the loss against the spread, 69% still, Mike Tomlin against Cincinnati. So, I mean, this is just the perfect spot beyond the fact that the number is just too big, in this game. This is just the perfect motivational spot for Pittsburgh. So going with Pittsburgh plus 4.5 at Cincy.
Yeah, you're also backing Ben Roethlisberger, the king of Ohio, who just all he does is win at Cleveland and Cincinnati. We're recording this on Tuesday night, so you guys can have it out Wednesday. We have Thursday games and Thanksgiving. So there's a couple games out there where there's a lot of injury uncertainty. The Steelers defense last week was obviously really shorthanded. Now they're traveling. It was an exhaustive effort.
Yeah.
Is Hayden, Fitzpatrick, Watt? We don't know that as of right now, right?
No. I'm hoping we get at least one or two of those guys back. Fitzpatrick is probably, I think the most likely. But if we just get one or two of those guys back in this spot, I think it'll be a good look.
Yeah, I can't fault the spot. And yeah, it is the play calling that's holding back this this Bengals offense. And I mean, they're either on first down just running it, like basic runs, inefficient basic runs, or they're just going spread 5 wide. And it's like, all right, now I know you're going to throw. Like there's just lack of a lot of motion and play action, and they're just not putting Burrow in great spots to succeed. So, yeah, I don't mind a classic Tomlin spot. Death taxes in the Tomlin spot, so don't hate that at all. For my first pick of the Week 12 Sunday 6-pack and the second overall, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams +1 at BetMGM against the Green Bay Packers. It's funny. Now, Packers fans all think I hate them because I bet against them the past couple weeks. And two years ago on this podcast, at the end of every episode, I said, "Go Pack, go!" With my Packers future.
It's a week-to-week league, Stuck. It's a week-to-week league.
I love Packers fans. Some of the most passionate in all of sports, and I hope to get up to Lambeau and have some beer with some of you one day. It's on my bucket list. I've actually never been. But look, the Packers are a really good team. They have Aaron Rodgers. You're going to have a chance to win when you're fully healthy. As of right now, and look, I said this going into the Minnesota game, the defense was playing at an elite level. There's no way they could sustain this with Kevin King, Rasul Douglas, and Stokes and Shannon Sullivan. And look, Kirk Cousins went off last week. And so I think that there's still more regression coming for this defense, which is still banged up. Look, I mean, you lose Jair Alexander. He's one of the best corners in the NFL. You lose Darius Smith. Rashawn Gary's banged up. And you got to keep in mind, there's a bye coming up next week for Green Bay, a much-needed bye. And they're one of the most cautious teams in the NFL when it comes to injuries. But it's just a great matchup for the Rams. They went out and got Von Miller for these teams, not for the Niners, right? Still don't match up well with these power running teams. And
oh my goodness.
Maybe Green Bay comes out and, you see a lot of A.J. Dillon. I think the Rams would take that, keep the ball out of Rodgers' hands. But look, they are an elite pass defense because they can get after the quarterback, they can disrupt the pocket, and they have a really good secondary led by Jalen Ramsey, who people think he's going to shadow Devonta Adams. He's not really doing that this year.
I can see him doing it though. I could, because that's the thing. They've wanted to get him up closer to the line of scrimmage. And it makes more
like
sense.
a star route.
A star, yeah.
Position.
But not every team, yes, teams have number one receivers, but not every team has a number one receiver worth shadowing, if you think about it, right? But the Packers do. Unquestionably, without a doubt, absolutely do.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be on Adams sometimes, and maybe they do shadow him. I think it would be smart here. I know Rams fans are clamoring for that, but it's a really good matchup for the Rams, especially when you consider here's the projected starting offensive line for the Packers on Sunday. Nijman at left tackle, John Runyon, Lucas Patrick, Royce Newman, and Billy Turner. That's it. Bakhtiari just had another surgery. He's out. Elton Jenkins, who's elite, just went on IR. They lost their center, who was playing really well. He went on IR a couple weeks ago. And this offensive line is a makeshift unit. And now you have Aaron Rodgers, who has a toe injury that he says he can't wait to get to the bye for. I don't think he's practicing much at all during the week. And now you have all these new offensive line pieces going up against Aaron Donald. And now you're throwing Von Miller in there. This spells trouble for Rodgers, and I don't know. You could see. I'd hope that Rodgers doesn't get hurt. And some of the throws he makes is so fun to watch. So just a great matchup for the Rams. And then also on the other side of the ball, I talked about the regression on their defense. The Rams have the offensive firepower to take advantage of this. And speaking of bye weeks, it'll serve the Packers really well next week. Get a lot healthier. Well, the Rams really needed their bye week, mainly because Matt Stafford was dealing with a back injury, an ankle injury. Now he's reportedly back to 100. He's reportedly back to 100%. He wasn't even practicing before some of the games. His back was clearly bothering him. You saw some of the throws that he made in the past 2 games. So I expect a very sharp Stafford here against the secondary that the Rams should be able to attack, should be able to run on this defense as well. Sean McVay, great in this spot. 14-7-1 against the spread off a loss. 66.7% average margin of over 3 points per game. So I think this is a great bounce back spot for the Rams off of a bye against a beat up Packers team. This is just the right matchup for the Rams and the right spot and opportunity. Rodgers won't make it easy, but I think the Rams get home here.
Yeah, and on the road off a loss, he's 9-3 against the spread with a cover margin, not even a margin of victory, a cover margin of 7 points. He's covering by a touchdown in 12 games on the road off a loss.
Yeah, that margin, by the way, that I said 3.1, that's the cover margin as well. So, yeah, and 7 on the road. Geesh. So, yeah, I think it's a great spot for the Rams.
What do you think about the line moving? Because I will probably be joining you on this one. I know the Packers tend to be a public team. Right now, we have tracked 55% of the tickets on the Packers, but 66% of the money's on the Rams. So are we getting anything better than a 1 here? I might as well just kind of hop on it now.
I don't think so. And then you're only like the Rams are pretty much healthy, and the Packers, I mean, there could be more. Here's the thing. Like, here's how we could lose. Jordan Love starts because this is my nightmare. Rodgers' foot is bad, so they decide to hold him out because there's a bye. They're the most cautious team, and then this line closes Rams -7, which means put everything that you own on the Packers money line. So yeah, there only could be worse news for the Packers with Gary or potentially Rodgers. I mean, he has this foot injury that's apparently really bothering him. Didn't seem to bother him last week during the Vikings game, but there's a bye on deck. Packers extremely cautious as an organization when it comes to injuries. So yeah, I don't think you're getting better than 1, even though the Packers are a public team from what I've seen in the market. Could be wrong, but I think 1 is the grab here.
For my second pick and the third overall of the Week 12 Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings +3 at the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Zimmer. This is another good spot for him, but this is another one of those matchups where it's just 2 teams pretty evenly matched. San Francisco, a couple of ticks better in DVOA. They're 7th. Minnesota's 11th. Both teams have 6.7 estimated wins according to Football Outsiders, which looks at the DVOA differentials and point differentials and all that stuff. So pretty evenly matched game. But when you look at this, I think it should be inside a field goal. So, as long as you can get it at 3 or more. I know it was at 2.5 at one point. But I just think this is one of those letdown spots for San Francisco. They're coming off a couple of strong performances. They handled the Rams easily. Then they get an easy one against the Jaguars, who don't really put up much of a fight. They take up the whole first quarter on one of their drives. But now you got this Minnesota team coming to town, and their defense is playing well. They're deep on defense. They can throw the ball. They can run it, even though their underlying run metrics aren't that good. But you just look at these spots in the past when, Kyle Shanahan's been here, and you say, okay, 49ers at home against a similar team should be able to take care of business. Kyle Shanahan, just 9-19-1, 32% against the spread as a favorite in games where he's not coming off the bye. So as long as he's on normal rest, 9-19-1. As a home favorite, 2-13-1 against the spread is Kyle Shanahan when not coming off a bye. 2-13. He's covering 13% of his games as a home favorite. And then you look at the 49ers, they're coming off a blowout win. So it's a letdown spot. Home teams that are 500 or below, so teams that are no better than 500, coming off a win of 16 plus, just 17-29 with 2 pushes against the spread, just 37% since 2003, according to our Action Labs database. And then you look at San Francisco this year. They're just 1-4 at home. That Rams win was their first home win all year. And I don't even need to go into the numbers of just the Levi Stadium curse. Like, most 49ers fans think the stadium is cursed. You go in the comments at like the Athletic or, any place where, the 49ers blogs, and all the fans think the stadium's cursed. For whatever reason, they haven't played well there. So, I'm 2 evenly matched teams. I'm getting a field goal, and it's a bigger letdown spot for San Francisco. Mike Zimmer usually does well in these spots. We talk about it all the time. As a favorite, kind of like Shanahan, but as an underdog, 33-20, 62% against the spread. So yeah, back in Mike Zimmer. It seems like every week, same picks: Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Minnesota. So we're going with Minnesota here. Just a letdown spot. for the 49ers, but against a Minnesota team that's just, it's very good too. Both of these teams are playing good football, but so I'm just taking the points here.
Yeah, I'll touch on this game later, but 49ers, they've really picked it up here. It's a team I don't necessarily – it's a team I'm going to be looking to back down the stretch, especially within their division. They were just getting really unlucky. They had a lot of injuries again. Their offense is first in EPA per play over the past month in the entire NFL. They're really starting to get rolling. They've just been unlucky. They're a lot better than the record. Same thing with the Vikings, by the way. These two teams are very similar. And now this is a huge game that could potentially determine which one of these teams gets that 7th spot, that final wild card, because this will be a head-to-head tiebreaker, and be a team that no one wants to play. That 2 seed does not want to play the 7 seed if it's either San Francisco or Minnesota. But I'll touch more on this game later. By the way, Kirk Cousins is playing just at a phenomenal level.
Yeah, it's like, and he doesn't get the credit, right? It's like he has one bad game in there, and then, maybe he had 2, but, every other game, I mean, he's making throws, and he should be. I mean, he's got 2 great receivers, so, and a great running back. But, yeah, who are you going for your second pick?
All right, for my second pick in the 4th overall of the Week 12 NFL Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers -1.5 at BetMGM at the Miami Dolphins. What I don't necessarily love this number. It's not like I make Carolina -4, 4.5. I'd show a bit of value on Carolina, and I just love the matchup here. There's a couple reasons here. One, I don't think either team's going to be able to throw the ball in this particular matchup. So, look, I mean, Carolina can't really throw the ball, and Miami's defense is playing really well, really aggressive. They have good corners. Their past defensive metrics have been a little disappointing, but this is a team that can still defend the pass. Carolina, one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. So it's going to come down to who can run the ball. It's a game I think is going to be low scoring. Who can run the ball more successfully? Well, the Dolphins can't run the ball. Rush EPA offense, Panthers 18th, Dolphins 30th. Rush success rate, Panthers 14th, Dolphins 30th. So they just can't run the ball. So I think that the Panthers will be able to sustain a few more drives than the Dolphins, because the Dolphins can't run the ball. What's going to happen? It's going to come down to Tua behind what I think is the league's worst offensive line, trying to contain a pass rush that's number 1 in the NFL on adjusted sack rate. That's not going to end well. So I think that, you'll see some mistakes from Tua. You could get some strip sacks. The Carolina defense is going to make some plays here. They can just, Miami can't run it. This is just all out, attack the quarterback. The secondary is playing at a high level. And I think on both sides of the ball, Carolina is a bit undervalued right now because their season-long metrics include some Sam Darnold, which is never a good thing, and no McCaffrey, right? You have McCaffrey back now. On the other side of the ball, you had, Shaq Thompson was out. You added Gilmore. You had a lot of other injuries in the defensive backfield. And, they were still playing pretty well. But they've added a lot of new pieces. They got rid of Darnold, which is always a net positive. They're going to go run heavy here. I don't expect them to put up a ton of points, but I think that they'll be able to sustain just a few more drives than Miami. I think that their defense will make a few more plays on Tua, who will most likely be in more bad passing situations because they can't run it at all. And that's when I think this Carolina defense feats. So I really like this matchup here for the Panthers. I will take them -1.5 here.
Yeah, I agree with the defense. I've loved this Panthers defense, and the Dolphins have a real trouble running the ball against pretty much everyone except the Jets. So if they can't run the ball, they only have like one. I mean, they have 2 good receivers. I guess you call Gesicki a receiver, but I mean, Carolina is so deep in the secondary that they can literally treat Gesicki like a receiver and put a corner on him if they so please.
Yeah, you can put Gilmore on him if you want.
Yeah, so I think Carolina on defense is going to lock up, and I agree. They are the better offense in this game. Cam Newton gives them something that, that Sam Darnold didn't give them, that PJ Walker didn't give them, and they're still going to be fired up. Now they're coming off a loss. I mean, they're still in the playoff hunt too. So I think you're going to get a motivated effort from Carolina. And Miami's averaging just 6 yards per target against man coverage compared to 7.3 against zone. And like you said, Carolina has a more than enough personnel to play man coverage in this spot and just, blitz the quarterback. So it could get ugly.
Yeah, and they're have graded out top 3 in the league against tight ends for what it's worth for the Gesicki matchup. So yeah, give me the Panthers here.
All right. For my third pick and the 5th overall in the Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -3 at Indianapolis. And listen, Indianapolis playing some great football. They really are. They're a couple of overtime games away from being on a pretty huge winning streak right now. They're kind of back to that level that we saw them last year when they were a little bit healthier. They had Rivers at quarterback. But I don't think this is a good matchup for Indianapolis at all for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, Tom Brady, everyone says, looking at, the Bucs this year, what's the narrative? They can't play on the road. And that might be true. I mean, they have played poorly on the road. Their point differential is it's like 28 points better on the at home than on the road. But this isn't a normal road matchup for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's indoors. So, Brady, a little bit older, some of these outdoor games, some of these road games, I think a little tougher, but there's no pressure. The Colts aren't getting pressure. So you got an indoor game where the Colts aren't getting pressure. They're 3rd from the bottom of the league in pressure percentage at 18.4%. And we saw what happened against the Giants, who are also in the bottom 5. It was just the Bucs could have put up 45 in that matchup. And then on the other side, Jonathan Taylor has been an absolute beast. The Bucs, they don't have Vita Vea. They probably won't be getting it back, but still one of the better run defenses in the league. So, you expect them to be able to slow him down a little bit more than some of these other teams, if there's such a thing. But Tampa Bay's defense, they're getting a little bit healthier. Murphy Bunting is back, and this defense is up to 7th in DVOA. Despite all of the injuries, they're still 7th, and that's schedule adjusted. So their offense is 1st, and their defense is 7th, and they're 1st in overall DVOA. Indianapolis is 8th in DVOA, 11th on offense, and 9th on defense. So Tampa Bay still got the better unit on both sides of the ball. I got a 2.5. If you can get a 2.5 for -120 or less, I think it would be worth it here. Could be a close game. The Colts have been competitive, but I could also see Tampa Bay blowing them out here. Tom Brady's still not happy about that losing streak. He still knows he has work to do. They didn't just completely blow out the Giants, which I think may have been good because it'll keep them focused and things to improve on. Gronk back, I think, really opens up that offense because it gives Brady another option over the middle of the field to just jam it into another big guy. And Brate's playing well. Maybe they even get Antonio Brown back here. And I just don't know that the Colts have enough outside of Taylor to keep up with the Bucs, and get in the shootout here. I think the Colts, good matchup against the Bills. The Colts like to drop back in the zone. They play too high safety. Josh Allen struggling with accuracy. So maybe we should have saw that coming. But Tom Brady's not going to struggle with accuracy. He's going to know exactly where to go with the football. And I think he's going to make the Colts kind of score on the other side. And that's where they start getting into trouble, where they just can't hand it to Jonathan Taylor, 30 times a game, where Wentz has to make some plays. So give me the Bucs, -3. Frank Reich at home hasn't been great, 13-16, 45% against the spread, just 1-5 against the spread as a home underdog. So it's been rare, but when the Colts are home underdogs, the market's usually been right about that. So give me the Bucs -3 at Indy.
Yeah, I do want to give Kwity Paye has been playing really well. He's getting some pressure, and there's a lot of promise with this kid Odangbo, who both of them were draft picks of the Colts in this most recent draft, and he's only played 4 games, but he's looked pretty good. But yeah, I agree. I don't think the defense is ideal here to face the Bucs. I was actually going to be like looking into, okay, can Jonathan Taylor have a lot of success here?
Yes.
He's just been tearing it up, and Quentin Nelson's day to day, and I'll break some news for you here on the pod. Vita Vea is good to go for Bruce Arians about an hour.
No, really?
So that's
amazing. Yeah, no wonder this line
it's worth about a half a point.
Yeah, it's going to 3. Yeah,
himself.
it's going to 3 everywhere. I actually did not know that when I bet. I just like the matchup for the offense. I wasn't counting, but that's big news because I saw Quentin Nelson in a heap. So that didn't look good. I mean, hopefully he's day to day. Just
Nelson can't go, and then Vay is back. I mean, Vay is just so elite. At one of the primary reasons why. I mean, the scheme too, but just him in the middle makes this team impossible to run against. So yeah, Colts are playing really good football, but I do show value here, so I don't disagree with you here. All right, for my third and final pick of the Week 12 NFL Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Houston Texans -2.5 at home against the New York Jets. Look, it's slim pickings out there this weekend. There's 3 games on Thanksgiving, but this is the third side that I did play, and I do like it. I don't, it's a number. It's not the greatest value in the world, but I actually do make this 3, and here's why. It's going to be a simple handicap. As of right now, I actually have the Jets rated worse than the Texans, believe it or not, from an overall roster perspective, assuming, and there's not a huge drop-off regardless, but assuming that Zach Wilson is going to start. And that is the word. The most recent word is Zach Wilson's a go. I think he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. As of right now, he could still, turn into a decent quarterback. But if you look at any metric across the board, he has been the worst rookie. He's just been horrendous. And what have we also seen this year? We've seen quarterbacks come back from injury, right? And you look awful. There's rust. It takes a while to get back into the flow. Struggling rookie coming back from injury. Look, I have no problem taking the Texans, who I'm barely ahead of the Jets. If they had Flacco, and I think that they would be better off using Flacco. I think he threw for 300 yards last week against the Dolphins, but they have to see what their rookies got. I think that's a mistake. I think that adds even more value to the Texans here. The Jets really going to get up for this game? I don't know, but the Texans have Tyrod Taylor. The Jets have Zach Wilson. That's pretty much as simple as a handicap as I can give you. I'm getting the home team under 3 with a quarterback who has shown me nothing so far. He got us to the window in Tennessee with some lucky throws. But other than that, he's been horrendous. Might be a huge bust. We'll find out. But give me Tyrod Taylor and his legs, a defense that got some confidence last week with that Tennessee win, picking off Tannehill 4 times. Just went to 3, would not play it. 2.5. I'm fine taking a shot here. Yeah, no advanced handicap. Just give me the Texans.
They're going to sit back in that cover Tampa too. And that seems like not what you want. Zach Wilson, a guy who likes to throw down the field and struggles to read defenses. Probably not what you want. So I kind of make it right in that 2.5, 3 range. So I don't have a strong feel for this game. I mean, this is just 2 bad teams. Maybe if this is later in the week and we were recording it, I'd have a stronger take. But it's not much I can add other than they finally started playing Elijah Moore. So our pep talk worked.
He looks great. He looks great. And another big difference here is not only is look, and we saw this Tyrod Taylor when he came back. He was extremely rusty, right? We saw this with Prescott, and we saw it many times throughout the season. But the one thing you're going to get with Tyrod Taylor, legs, right? So he can use his legs to create, and he's not going to make mistakes, right? He did in that first game so uncharacteristic. You look at his career statistics, career interception rate, elite. So he's not going to make mistakes. He's really prone to make mistakes. A lot of mistakes here is Zach Wilson. I think that'll be the difference. So give me the Texans.
All right, that's going to do it for our Week 12 Sunday 6-pack. To recap, Stuckey is going with the Rams +1, the Panthers -1.5, and the Texans -2.5. I'm going with the Steelers +4.5, the Vikings +3, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -3.